Hey y'all, so we're getting ready to taste Anji Bai cha green tea of Zhejiang. I think that's how I would say it. I don't know if that's correct or not, but this is a beautiful tea. Check it out. I am so excited to try this. I don't know if you can see the quality of it, but look at these leaves. They're so green and pretty. Isn't that amazing? I'm just in awe of it's like straight off the bush, beautiful. So I'm getting ready to weigh out my tea and my butter dish on my food scale. It was inconsistent between 31 and 33, so I got this pocket scale and it was at 31.5 in my last tasting, and now today it's 33.5. Interesting that it is changing. There, I dumped a bunch out because it's just so pretty, and you had to see how pretty it is. Isn't that gorgeous tea? I'm excited. I'm excited for the quality of this leaf. Oops, I just broke that one. Check it out. Isn't that super fun? Look at the consistency of the green color. So, I've got going on over here 3.1. I found something online that said for this tea 3.5 to 4 grams per 6 ounces of liquid, and then I had to do the conversion, and my guy one I know is 150 milliliters, and so that translates to roughly 5 ounces. So I'm going to go on the lower end, 3 to 3.5, and that seems like a lot of tea. But it doesn't look like too much in the Kaiwan. So I'm doing 80 degrees Celsius, and doesn't that look fabulous? All piled high. Okay, so here's the color of the liqueur. It's very pale. I did brew it a little less than the 2 minutes. And there is the color in my cup. Okay, so here are the brewed leaves. I've brewed it now 3 times. Aren't they just so lovely? They're so lovely. Look at this one. So whole. I don't know if we can pick through it some more. It's so fun to pick through the leaves. I like that I'm getting, like the first one, 2 leaves on one stem. So let's look at my notes. So there is what the tea looks like and how it is spelled. Anji actually comes from the county. We'll look at that in a minute. Bai cha actually translates into white tea, but this is actually a green tea. The silvery pale underside of the leaves and buds is where it gets its name. I don't know if I actually got that. I'm looking right now. I don't see anything silvery. It looks like beautiful green to me. Yunnan sourcing is where I bought this from. Today's date, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. This is always harvested in late March or early April, so you can see this tea is now almost a year old. And it's snowing outside, and we're expecting a snowstorm tomorrow night. I'm excited about that. So this is from Anji County of the Zhejiang province of China. So I looked that up, and so this is where the Zhejiang province is, over there on the coast in red. And this is all the provinces in China, and you see right there is the Zhejiang. So I went to Google Maps, and right here is the Anji province, not far from Shanghai, which we've heard of. But I tried to find, this is the Zhejiang province and all of the counties in it, and I tried to figure out which county it was, and there's no English map out there. So based on this shape, I had to laugh. It looks like a little chicken leg up there at the top. But based on this shape, my guess is it's where I circled here because there's the chicken leg. But I'm not positive about that. Somebody needs to do an English map of that. So processing. So after, on the Tivavir website is where I got the nice description of the processing. So first I'm not going to read this detail. You can pause the video and read, or go to their website. But first they spread it out onto baskets and allow it to dry without direct sunlight. And then they do de-enzyming, which is also known as kill green. So that's what stops the oxidation and keeps it that beautiful green color. And then they roll it. So you saw that it was needle-like rolled leaves. And then they do some drying. So that's the processing notes that I kept for myself. I found these notes we talked about. I did around 3 grams for my 150 milliliters. More notes. The leaves are long and thin and very fine. And it consists of a bud plus 1 or 2 small young leaves. Only small quantities are made in the early spring, making this tea more expensive. But it was actually a more affordable on this website than I thought it would be. They compare this to the Japanese Gikuro, because it has a high L-theanine, which gives it the sweet umami flavor. During dormancy, the plant produces very little chlorophyll, making the leaves very pale green. I love the leaves. I just love the leaves. It feels so fresh and like it came straight from my garden. From the Yunnan sourcing website, this is what it says about it. The unpicked leaves are more white than green. Well, I wouldn't know what the unpicked leaves look like, so that might be why it's called white tea that's processed into green tea. They mention the low chlorophyll as well, and that this is fairly new, only discovered in 1982. And the original mother tea plants were cloned and cultivated in Anji County only. So that's cool. And it's very sweet and thick tea. I didn't get thick. And there it says 75 to 80, and I did the 80 Celsius, which is, if I click my button over here, 176 Fahrenheit. Sometimes I think using Celsius, is the first time I've ever used Celsius, is easier. It's just easier to know like 100 is boiling, so which is easier to remember than 205, and 80 is easier to remember than 176. So anyway, the color very pale on the on far left on my spectrum. Aroma. Now, I really, I actually forgot to smell these wet leaves. Okay, so I'll add those notes, but the savory is what I got first from it. And I really was like, I picked it up expecting this vegetal aroma because it's such a lovely green color, and the dry smell was very light, but I did detect savory. That's what came to mind first. And if this is what it truly is, I would be recognizing the umami better for the first time. I tried to recognize umami better when I went through the gamut of all the Japanese green teas already. I feel like I know Japanese green teas very well. And I tried to grasp umami, but now this is the first time I kind of think I might get it. So it could also be vegetable if I think on cooked asparagus. Of course, it's similar to, raw asparagus doesn't have much of a taste, but cooked does. Body is delicate. Astringency, smooth and low, all of that is good. Look at that grand picture. It's like I want to take a picture with my good camera too. So taste, I did get sweet. Often I don't get, they tell me it's sweet in the descriptions, and that's what came out first for me. And I'm going to say the asparagus and umami again. That's what's awesome. I always love it when it smells the same as it looks. Oh, and when I just smelt it now, it was much stronger, and I did get more of the asparagus than I did the umami in the wet leaves. Does not taste at all like gyokuro. So they compare it to that because this is like the prime green tea, the most expensive tea, the best green tea in China as compared to the best green tea in Japan. So that's why they say that. But it reminds me more of the Longjing Dragon Well that I had. And I'm thinking I had fun brewing that in just the tall glass grandpa style. And I feel like I want to do that with this. And then you drink directly from the glass with the leaves still in it. I really think that's something I want to do with this. And then I'd also want to do a tasting with the Dragon Well and this tea, the Anji Bai cha, right next to each other and do a comparison tasting, because I think I'm having trouble. I think that they're very similar in consistency and body and in astringency, but I know there's got to be a little bit difference in flavor, and I think that would be fun to put those two side by side. Would make a great spring and summer tea. Yeah, perfect tea for spring and summer drinking. Finish is just airy and soft. I didn't get much in the finish at all. Very delightful, happy. Rating, I gave it 4 stars, 4 hearts. I would definitely buy this again. I loved it.